I grew up here in San Francisco in the Mission District. I was raised by a single mom. My mom was raised Catholic, and it was important to her to have me raised Catholic. It was always pretty much me and her throughout the whole thing. She was everything to me. She was all I had. The whole appeal of gangs to me was being part of a group of friends, hanging out and having each other's backs. The gangs brought the respect that I always wanted. The whole appeal of easy money, being a 16-year-old, being able to afford things that adults don't have, got me going into selling drugs. But still, it wasn't enough for me. Something inside was missing, and I started using the drugs. Hey, maybe this will make me happy. The last few years of my mom's life, I put her through the worst hell I could even imagine for anybody. My whole life was nothing but drugs and waking up in the morning thinking about drugs. I wanted my mom to know that before she died, that her son was not on crack cocaine, not gonna be lost in drugs. In the inside, I wanted change, but I couldn't. I couldn't stop. The addiction was so strong. It was a deep anguish I had. And I remember crying out to God, asking him please to help me, to deliver me from this crack cocaine, to deliver me from these drugs. All of a sudden, it was like a miracle. I just remember feeling the freedom that I was free from drugs. It was something I can't even describe. You know, I remember jumping on the bus with joy in my heart, going to the side of my mom's bed and showing her money. Look, Mom, I got money and it's not going towards drugs. God got a hold of me. He did something for me today. That's definitely something I remember forever. I was going to church for about a year and a half after that, just the transition of being clean for the first time in my life, being on my own for the first time. Little by little, I started letting things creep in, justifying it by telling myself, oh, you still got a job, you're still paying the bills, you're still okay. You know, as long as I stayed away from the drugs, I could kind of still do, you know, dibble and dabble in things, and kind of putting, you know, the whole serving Christ with my whole heart kind of in the back burner. Like, I'll do that later on. I met my fiance, Jennifer, and we had a son, and I was excited to be a father. Just when I thought everything was going how it was supposed to go, one day I came home and found she had passed away. It was a shock to know that I had to raise a little baby by myself. I felt really alone. There was something inside of me that I needed to cry out to God again, to be with me through this pain. I never looked at it as God being a God that was punishing me. It was more of a God that could help me. When I was hooked on drugs, God was faithful and delivered me. When I strayed away, He embraced me with open arms. I knew that if I came to God, He would help me to raise my son. Going to church and not really being connected in the ministry with other people around me definitely made it easier for me to start straying. This time I knew I needed to find a church where I could plug into and a church that my son would love going to. And I found that at Cornerstone. I can say that I've gone through some difficult stuff, but I can truly say that God has always been right next to me, walking with me, giving me strength, and I can trust in Him. 5 years ago, I really committed my life to Christ and wanted my life to count for something, for time and for eternity, to be able to raise my son in the ways of the Lord. This baptism means a lot to me, you know, to be able to stand here and identify myself with Jesus Christ and what He's done for me. Community's the whole thing. We weren't meant to be Lone Ranger Christians. We're meant to serve with one another, shoulder to shoulder. At Cornerstone, I found a church where I was able to be hands-on, to connect with other brothers, to help in some way or form. You know, even just serving on the security team, running a small men's group, and just knowing that God's with me every step of the way, knowing that God's by my side while I'm raising my son, while I'm going through storms, while I'm going through struggles, knowing that God is with me every single step of the way. My name is Lou Avalos, and this is how I'm building my life.